Welcome to the Heavyweight Podcast.
The message behind saying the title of the Heavyweight Podcast is to be able to say that we can weigh in on some heavy shit. You know, what we're talking about is important from every aspect of it. It's a heavy weight. It's not just about physical weight, but the weight of things that can weigh our minds. So I think it's dope that we can have this conversation.
What's good? This is episode 166 of the Heavyweight Podcast. I am your anti-social host, Stutter McFly, back again with this special guest, this lady, and these two guys. Go ahead and state your name for the beautiful people out here.
Today I'll go by the name of Cardi Teeth. Yeah, I like it. Cardi Teeth. Bodak Gap.
I'm about to drop the mic.
The parody of the WAP. What's that?
Oh gosh.
It's probably just Gap.
It's your boy Molito.
I'm your girl Des the Diva. And I'm that lady.
How were your weeks?
Hilarious.
Long week, but pretty good all in all. Blessed.
Too blessed to be stressed. I
Yep.
get to do this. Mine was uneventful.
Uneventful.
In a good way?
Yeah, that's
That's
always
good,
good.
yeah.
That's always good. Like by choice.
For shizzle.
Yeah.
I had a great week, especially with the new name you just came up with.
Get the album.
Is it good ass pussy? Is this Gap? Or is it good ass penis?
It's way better.
For your week?
All week was chill. It wasn't to the extent of that, but yeah, it was good. It was good. So are we ready for the festivities?
Yeah.
Let's get it going.
Alrighty. This is called Laughing My Pain, and we're leading towards the Suicide Prevention Month. So
Okay.
if you ever have an issue where you feel like harming yourself, you can go ahead and hit the 3-digit number of 988. You know, there's never a problem to get help. Mental health is very important. So,
Very important.
Yes.
Mhm.
and in dealing with mental health, sometimes you have to laugh at your pain. So, can you share a moment when you first found yourself laughing after a loss, and how did it make you feel?
I'll add to that. I lost my mom to brain cancer almost 5 years ago. And watching her go from superwoman to completely like reliant on myself and my sister, it changes your whole world. And it changes your idea of quality of life. And it makes you realize what's important. And like I said, I watched my mom go from being able to talk to me to nonverbal. And it will change your life, like completely. But the bigger thing is I've had to make adjustments and realize that I have to continue to live and raise my daughter without her, because she would slap me across my face and be like, I know you miss me, but get your shit together. But just when you go through watching that happen, you have to pick yourself up and check your mental health. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I did 2 years of therapy after I lost my mom. And it wasn't the fact that I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't know how. And people get grief mixed up. Sometimes not knowing what to do with your grief is bigger than you. And so I really thought that it was important for me to go see a therapist. And talk to somebody else that's not going to be biased, that's not going to be judgmental, and validate you and everything else. And I really feel like that's probably the best thing I've ever done for myself, because I was able to come out of it. Because you go through that shock value where you're like, damn, they're really not here anymore.
Yeah.
And that's the most wild part about it. Because there's still times till this day where I'm like, my mom's really not here. So
Yeah,
Mm.
that don't go away.
And then when did you smile after that? When did you laugh, and what was that moment? Can you remember that first smile, that first laugh after?
It was probably about 6 months after she had passed away. Uh, she used to, God rest her soul, she used to cut up string cheese instead of block cheese to put on a sandwich because she was just that woman. And
That
I
probably
caught
was fire.
it is. And I caught myself doing the same thing because we were out of cheese. And I had to laugh because I was like, damn it, I'm doing the same thing she did. But it was a good recollection. And I was like, you know what? It's going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. And you
Good.
have to laugh. You have to smile. You have to
Absolutely.
realize that life is going to go on because if you don't, then you're going to get stuck and you're going to be like, she's not here. And yeah, because losing a parent is like bad. It's not a good feeling. It really, really is. So,
Well, next time we see you, I expect you to bring me a sandwich with the string cheese.
got you.
Because I want to try it. It sounds delicious.
I got you.
I guess when my dad passed, I actually went and did a comedy competition. So that's probably pretty immediate. I think my family was still like, it was probably like right after the funeral, so we still had people from out of town in town. They didn't go, but I still went because it's like one of those where I was like dedicating it to him. So I did all my dad jokes, and I think it's pretty immediate that I had other people laughing at that, but that was good. It was a good reflection. I didn't say anything. I wasn't trying to get like sympathy votes, but hey,
Yeah.
I won, so fuck it.
If you don't mind me asking, how old were you when your dad passed away?
How old was I? 33? About 33. It's been, what, 6 years? 34, 33?
We were about the same age. My mom passed in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when he was, well, when was I? I was here after the Navy, so 16, I think it was. Yeah, damn. Yeah, it's been that long. Fuck. That's crazy that happens. Like, I look up and you're like, God damn.
Mm-hmm.
Don't feel like it's been that long, but.
No.
Well, yeah, I was happy to be able to win with his jokes. I know he kind of would tell me I owe him some money. But yeah, that was good. I shouldn't have cashed that check. I was broke though. I needed it. Should have framed it.
Maurice.
When the first time I smiled, it was years after my grandparents died. As I said many times before, I lost my grandparents, I think it was 23, 20, 20, 21, 22, 23, something like that. And, excuse me, I went into like a deep depression because it was like I lost my aunt 1 year. I blame myself for that. I still blame myself for that. Then I lost my grandfather the next year. Then I lost my grandmother the year after that. And it was like I couldn't even get over one death before another one happened. So it was like I went to a deep depression. My wife stood by my side. This is like why I say this is probably like one reason why I love her so much, because she stood by me. And so, we had got to the point where probably one of our lowest of lows. And she was talking. We're having one of our conversations where she's trying to tell me to get my shit together. And then she said, she looked me in my eye. I remember when she said it. She looked me in my eye and she said, "Would your grandparents be proud of you right now?" Mm-hmm. And that shit crushed me because I knew what the answer was. And that along with the ultimatum was kind of what helped me. And I think the first time I think I smiled thinking about them was when we had Phoenix, because I thought about how spoiled she would have been, especially with my aunt. My aunt was that aunt where she'd be like, "Give me the baby," and it wasn't like, "No, we're not talking about it. Yeah, you're gonna drop this baby off, and she's going to be here." And that was probably like the first time in a while I had like thought about it and smiled. like smiled. So it was like almost like roughly like 12, 13 years later.
Yeah.
I have two instances where I can think about it. I remember when Tajor passed, I was at work and something didn't feel right that day, but I remember getting off of work and Mike, rest in peace, Mike, had called me and the way he set up the damn question fucked me up before him even telling me the news. But I remember, I guess a couple hours later, me and Verge, shout out to Verge, we sat at Denny's, and it was maybe a couple hours later. I'd been crying in the car, and we sat at Denny's, and we just started talking about the many stories of Tajor, and before I realized that we were laughing instead of being sad, and that instance, it was a realization and like, damn, like he's still here in a presence because the stories that we had about him made us just feel better, even when we were feeling really fucking low at that point. And with my dad, I think it was maybe a couple of months or so after I was can't remember who I was talking to, but I ended up telling him a story about my dad, and in that moment, it made me laugh because then I realized that it made me sad and happy in the same breath. So I laughed about the story, but then I realized I was the only one left to tell the story. And
Change your world.
yeah. But that was maybe a couple of months after he passed, and that was in 2022. And it was a couple months after. And still I got hit with instant like realizations, and like Afton said, like you realize that that person isn't here anymore, and then it'll trigger, and before I realize that I'm tearing up anytime something happened, it would hit me. So, but I was able to laugh a couple months after.
It's interesting to do that, and like I get teary-eyed like listening to you talk about it, because I think the biggest thing that I had to overcome, and I'm sure we all do, is when we sit there and we're like, I had 36 years and now I have to spend a lifetime without you. That's like the hardest realization. So but yeah.
Yeah, I think I laughed. Sorry, I'm just thinking of the things that were funny because I just remember when I was going through his phone.
Sorry.
And I was like looking at the pictures, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Because he'd take videos, but he'd be like trying to pose and like, "Man, damn it!" And I was just like, "Yeah, thank you for leaving this." Still couldn't use the phone.
Being that many people feel guilty for laughing after a loss, how did you navigate those feelings, and what advice would you give others experiencing the same thing?
I don't feel guilty laughing after a loss.
Sometimes I do.
I don't feel guilty, just to kind of piggyback on what you're saying, because the biggest thing that I had to learn how to do, my mom was a big, huge role of my daughter's life. My daughter was 7, so she was old enough to understand death. And so I had to laugh. Even sometimes if I was shining it off, I had to laugh because of her, because literally she didn't want to go to school for a couple of months and I made her go. And she was just like, I don't get to see my grandma after school. I'm not going to hear her laugh. And it's just like, those are the things that push you to go, you know what? It is okay to laugh. Because if you don't laugh at the good, fond memories, if you don't laugh at the positives that they brought, you're kind of going away from, remembering them. And that's what we have to do. So you do have to put yourself in a position where laughing is definitely okay. I mean, I don't know about how Boots over there and the cell phone and all that, but you do have to get to a point where it's okay. Because if we sit and cry and cry and cry, you're not going to get anywhere. And it is okay to cry. I mean, look at the house right now. We all welling up.
Mhm.
So
In my defense, I cry every time one of them talk. Every single time.
I get it.
I didn't even tell y'all when I laughed at the next after because I knew I was gonna cry and I had already cried because of them too.
Well, and to be honest with you, you guys right now just put me in a more wholesome state because I know I'm not alone. And I think that's the other thing too. Sometimes when people lose their parents, they're not alone. You just got to talk to other people.
Yeah.
Mm.
For me, only way I knew how to navigate was to either vent, whatever way I knew how to vent. So either doing music, like you said, talking to people. Because what was weird is I remember when I was trying to get money together for his funeral, there was a unexpected person that reached out. There was somebody I didn't think they were that fond of me. We chopped it up for maybe like 10 minutes, and she had lost her father. And when we talked about it, it was weird to be able to kind of in unexpected places have that joint understanding of what you lost, because a lot of times when you explain to certain people until they experience, they have no clue what that loss feels like. So from an unexpected place to kind of sympathize with where you're coming from, it was weird to experience, but that same token, you realize, like you said, you're not alone. And when you're navigating those feelings, just be comfortable in your own space to just be able to say what you feel, whether it might sound like a selfish feeling, it might sound like a fucking angry feeling or whatever. Just say what the fuck you feel, because it's going to help with trying to accept something.
Well, and to piggyback on what you're saying, people who have no clue are the ones that are the worst because they have not experienced it. I will lend a helping hand to anybody that I love and I care about, but I will tell people, I've never experienced this. So I don't know how you're feeling, but I still try to put it out there. I'm here for you if you need me, because my pain is not going to match their pain. They don't know the empty hole. And for me, it's my mom. Not that I don't love my dad, but that's my mom. And so it's bewildering because I've had people tell me, "Oh, your mom's been gone for 2 years now. You should be fine."
That's nuts.
I didn't realize I fucking asked you.
That's a stupid ass thing to say to somebody. It's so
I'm shooting.
insensitive. Huh?
I'm shooting.
Please understand, baby.
You go home. You go home with
That
less teeth.
pissed me off.
Well, they lying.
Such
They
a
lying.
fucked up
They
thing
lying.
to say. I've not lost a parent, but I remember when you were going through that, and I would talk to you about it. I didn't know what to say, but I knew it hurt.
Yes.
And for somebody to even say that to you, like whoever said that, if you watching this,
I just feel like those people are lying though. Like I had somebody tell me that. He's like, "You're gonna get over it. Like you get over it." And then like I remember talking to him like years ago, and he's talking about his dad passing, and then he's like, "Yeah, you never get over it." I was like, "Well, why the fuck did you say that?"
Yeah.
Like what was that?
I think people feel like they're obligated to say something.
Yeah.
I experienced that a lot with me having multiple miscarriages, and I think people feel like they want to just say something, and sometimes your silence is just much better than you saying something out of pocket to me.
The only thing they should say is, "I'm here for you to talk."
I'm
That's
here
what
if you need to talk.
I remember
Exactly.
I had a friend tell me that, like, cause I remember, I think she had lost her dad, but that was when we were still in college, and like I was like, I mean, this is my friend, so I was like, I mean, I have no idea what you're going through, but I love you, and I'm so like not even sorry, like it's just I'm here. And she was like, you know what? Out of everybody who said anything, like that was the only thing I needed to hear. Like everybody else telling me everything's like, you don't know him. It's like you addressed me.
Yeah.
And you don't know the situation, like you don't know that feeling. Because I was like, I don't know how that feels. I can't pretend. I'm not even going to try to. But just know.
Yeah, I don't think I ever told you, Andy, but when you had called me about your dad, and I was like, "Bro, you got to go see him," right? And that was coming from a place where, in my mind, it's like, you know, it's about to happen, and you're never going to forgive yourself if you don't go see him, because I didn't get a chance to know it was going to happen. it kind of like it just happened. So I literally both all situations I had literally just talked to him. Everything was fine, nothing abnormal, and then literally the next day I wake up, I don't have him.
Mm-hmm.
Like that quick, like not. And I'm not talking about talk to him in the same room, talk to him over the phone. So I literally, I think it had been maybe like a week since I had seen my grandmother, like in like face to face. It had been maybe 2 weeks because that my grandfather passed. Well, they both passed while I was in college, so it was like I wasn't home all the time. I was working, school, everything was kind of like passerby type conversations, like not really doing much. So like that's why I told you that, bro. If you can go see him, like I get it. It's hard because I actually, the only difference was with my aunt. My aunt, she was on the breathing machine, so I was there when they took her off. So I actually watched, that and that. But even then, I was like, it sucked that day. But I was like, had I not been here, I wouldn't have forgave myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because at least I got to tell her I love you. I appreciate everything you've done for me, all that stuff, right? With my grandparents, I didn't get a chance to do that because I woke up. I literally got a phone call. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was saying like, no, like you're gonna like regret it. Like go regardless. I think I told you, as I said, regardless, whatever, like the standing was between you two, that should at the end of the day that should dad. So you got to go up there and do what's best.
Well, and those moments matter.
Yeah.
They absolutely matter. Like I can briefly share, like I knew it was coming. With cancer patients, they have a thing that's called the butterfly effect. It's like in the small of your back and it looks like a butterfly. And it's basically when your organs start to shut down. And I was able to go see her a couple of days before that took place. And again, I took her out. She was nonverbal at the time. She knew I was there, like she knew who I was, but I was able to put her in a wheelchair and take her around. I helped bathe her. And just to watch that is like, whoa, it's insane. But going back to what you're saying, like I had to go see her. Did I want to? No, because I didn't want to see her like that. But if I hadn't, I would have regretted it because she was still physically here. So,
because for me, like with my grandfather, I remember maybe a couple months before he passed, it was like full circle. Like, cause I showed up and it was like the man that taught me how to shave, I had to shave him. You know what I'm saying? It was like full circle, and I'm shaving him, and he's saying he's giving me his usual spill. And I'm like, Dad, you're good, all right, right? And then my grandfather, he'd always like he was like a serious guy, but then like every now and then he'd crack a little joke and he'd give you a little smirk. And I just remember him saying, "You better not cut me, because I can't defend myself." And I laughed at that. And like that was like one of the last conversations I had with him. And it was just like I'm just home for, I think I was there for the day, and that was like the last time I saw him.
Yeah.
it's a heavy show.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You're supposed to have a trigger warning or something.
She's getting restless.
Ava.
Yeah.
That's Ava.
Yeah.
She'd be like, "Where are you at?"
Yeah.
So besides primary loss, did you experience any secondary losses such as losing your sense of humor? And how did you reclaim that part of yourself?
I lost who I was for a long time. Like I said, with the depression. And I wore a mask every day. I would go to work. I would still be the Maurice you know now, but I would go to work and I would go to class. I would just go home and lay in a dark room. It was like I started drinking a lot. I was killing 2-3 bottles a week. But you would never know. You would see me in public, you think he's good, he's laughing, he's making jokes, and I don't think my wife understood. She couldn't tell how bad it was because we had opposing schedules. So like I was working, midnight to like 6-7 in the morning, and then I would come home. She's leaving when I'm coming home because she's going to work or she's going to school, and then by the time she come home, I'd be leaving. So it was like one of those things where I could do whatever I wanted to do, whether it be drink or sleep all day, and she would have no idea because she couldn't call me because she's in class, she's at work, and I would just get rid of the bottle before she came home. But I was like literally buying like gallons.
For me, I started becoming probably overtly sarcastic because that was my way of coping. It was, oh, sorry for your loss. And I'd say something smart ass like, because that's how I dealt with it. Luckily, I didn't stoop down into a high level of depression, but the sarcasm kind of was going that route because it was like, oh, yeah, my mom's dead.
Yeah.
Like, what? And I think that's just how people start to deal with that. It's just,
Oh,
but
I didn't mean to cut you off, but
It's okay.
you know the guy I call Sparky at work. Shout out to Spark. His name's Eric Sparks. Shout out to Eric Sparks and Tony Pueblo, because in those span of 2 years, UPS sent me a letter, and it says, in the last 12 months, you have missed 149 days of work. I never got written up. I never got suspended. It just like, they were like, look, you got to, at this point, like, do something. And so I remember Eric saying, hey, just give me 3 months. Just come, like, he was like, just show up. And if you don't feel like it, I'll send you home, because I know, because they knew what I was dealing with. So a lot of times I would come up like, hey man, I'm not. It's like, punch in, punch out, go home. I said, cool. And even when I was doing that, my wife didn't know. Like, my wife, she'd think I'm at work, because I'd go to work and like go home. And I would just, instead of going home, I'll hop in the car. I would sleep in the car at work, drive to the liquor store. Because, in California, you can't buy alcohol till 6 in the morning. So at 6 in the morning, go buy alcohol. Then I would literally be like, okay, she's about to leave in about 30 minutes. All right, let me head home. Boom. Then go home. And then get right back in the bed. And I was doing that for like almost 5 years straight. Because again, I wasn't talking to anybody, so it was just like, and if anybody called me, it'd be like, you think, oh, he's fine. He's like, no, I was literally dying inside.
McFly, ask the question again, please.
Okay. Besides primary loss, did you experience any secondary losses, such as losing your sense of humor, and how did you work to reclaim that part of yourself?
So as I mentioned, I didn't lose a parent, but in 2017, I lost twins. And I completely lost my mind. I started to look for like relationships that would give me like that family feel that I thought that I was missing not having children. Um, I dated like people that just completely didn't care about me, but I just wanted to feel anything other than just missing my babies, and I lost them at the furthest that I've ever been pregnant. So usually I would lose my babies so early you couldn't tell that they were babies, but I could. With my twins, you could. So for that, I just, gosh, I looked for just love in any form that I could find it. That was like the Daphne would tell you, she talked me through a lot of it. That was the hardest time of my life. And I think I'm just, as I've been mentioning on other episodes, I think I'm just now coming to the point where I am actually healing from, thank you. I am actually healing from that and realizing how dangerous my mistakes could have been. Because who knows? I was dating just who the fuck ever. So I could have caught something, I could have anything. And aside from the fact that it has been mentally draining on me. That's all shit.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's a lot. This is a heavy episode.
It's heavy.
But the interesting part is, and I just want to say this for everybody here, what we're all discussing, being able to work through it, we're still healing and dealing with it. You and everybody else, you're giving a voice for people who are dealing with it silently.
Yeah, and you know, I think I find comfort in that, to be honest with you, because there has been women that maybe just knew me from Facebook, but they'll call me and say, "Hey, I'm at the hospital by myself. I don't know what to say to these doctors and I don't know like what to do. Can you come up here? Can you help me? Like, can I FaceTime you?" And I've been able to help women in that way, and that has been really comforting for me.
Mm-hmm. If you should start a podcast, because I feel like with your journey, with your experience, added from here to there, like women are affected by it every day. And I'm not taking away anything from the men, but with women, it's such an emotional
it's
drainage.
different.
Absolutely,
It's
yeah.
different.
So
I get that a lot. A lot of people have asked me to try to like,
be a counselor.
start some type of platform to where I could share I just have to get to a point where like
Yeah, you gotta be ready.
I got to be ready for that, because on the flip side, although there are a lot of people that will support you through this and they need that support, I have had it's like when people find out that's because not a lot breaks me. You really not gonna be able to make fat jokes or anything like that and think it's about to break me, because it's not. But that fucks me up, and it seems like people get angry with me, and the first thing they want to go to is, "Well, that's why you can't have kids." And I can't, like, I'm not to a point yet where I feel like I could safely handle that.
It's a trigger.
It's a big trigger for me. So
Yeah.
once I get to that point, then maybe I will start to put content out there that will be helpful. But I have to get to that point first.
To be fair, I don't think you gotta get to the point where somebody should be able to say that shit to you. You could do a day in the Bing, we'll bail you out. Fuck it.
I told you I got a crowbar in my fucking trunk.
Yeah, nobody should say no
I'll
shit
take
like
out
that
kneecaps.
to anybody.
Yeah, but people are stupid. And when I say stupid, I mean ignorant.
Yeah.
And people do not realize that, like, it's ignorance is bliss.
It's not just that people feel comfortable when they're behind a keyboard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But when I show up at your job,
Yeah.
so because you try to embarrass me in public, I'm gonna whoop your ass in public.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
I probably handled that wrong. I started taking a lot of pills and shit, and just numbing myself, drinking and shit, acting like it was fun, but
It wasn't.
I was just masking,
Mm-hmm.
and I was good at hiding it, so that shit was gonna get dangerous.
Masking comes in so many different forms.
Well, I'm saying, like, you would never know I was fucked up.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It comes in so many different forms. Like, I'd gotten to a point where I would drink or I wouldn't eat. And because that's how I felt about myself. So, yeah,
I think there was one point where I knew I was like, this
not it.
ain't it. It's not really helping, but I couldn't stop.
Mm-hmm.
I think doing music and the podcast helped me get through finding myself again, because it was to a point, because I don't say much to everyone. I just wouldn't. It was a process of just dealing with accepting the fact that there's no real time to just process, because I had bills. The kids didn't have anything to do with what was going on. I can't just stop. So what I did find and comfort in was doing the podcast and being able to say what I felt here, put myself into creation, saying it. If a lot, especially the music I made in the last year or so, there's a lot of it throughout, and it's not hidden. There's no secret meaning. Those are the ways I got back to reclaiming parts of myself. I think the biggest thing I still haven't, I said I used to share a lot of memes. I've closed myself off to that point, but everything else has just been constant creation, helps me express. So
Yeah.
I agree. This podcast has been really therapeutic for me.
I think.
And I know I'm not a regular, but I've shared with you. Like, I feel so very lucky to be a part of it when I get to come. And like I said, that's the biggest thing. What did you just say?
You're like on a month's worth of.
No, I know. Like, I'm brand new.
Like, I ain't never been here. Girl, you've been on 4 episodes.
No, well, today, because I was only on 2. But I just, like I said, but in general, though, I feel very, very lucky that you guys have allowed me to be a part of it, though. I really do.
Yeah.
Because like even watching it before I came on, it's inspiring. And I feel bad because I'll go back to the episode and be like, what do you say? And so when you asked me to come on, I was just like, that's a blessing because you guys are to the point, but there's love, there's passion, and there's just validity behind everything that's said. And you guys talk about real shit. So it's like a blessing to be a part of. It really is.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Boots. Your little funky ass comes to yourself.
No, it wasn't to me. That was to all of us.
No,
You
I
got
know.
headphones on?
So, and dealing with this, how can friends and family support someone who was grieving and help them to get the joy and laughter again? Because I know we talked about how people don't have an understanding.
I think from when my dad died, like I started doing that to people more. It's just like cook a meal or something and take a load off of them. And just, hey, I don't even have to come eat with you. Like, I'll leave it for you if you don't want any company. Like, just something to help. And like just be, I don't want to say a distraction, but like so that you're not just sitting there and just stuck in that. You know what I mean? Because like I think I got a lot of that from my family too, because we always, like, whenever somebody passed, and we've had to deal with that probably far too much, but there's always a point where we're always together, like right in that moment. And like, it may seem weird, but like you could probably come in the house and motherfuckers just be laughing. And be like, well, what's going on? I thought so-and-so died. Like, yeah, but now we're just telling stories and like just being there and just uplifting one another. And that shit kind of like, you could watch people and it's just like, oh, they're not just sitting there, just, you could see like their whole demeanor change. And it's like, it's temporary, but you need that break. And like, I try to just do stuff like that. I don't try to impose my anything. Like, one of my friends, his mom died, and I was just like, I don't know what I could do. You got all these kids, and you guys got all this shit going on. I'll just cook like a big ass dinner for you guys. Just bring it by and just drop it off. And like, just eat with us. It's like, all right, yeah, we'll just hang out. And like, I noticed those things are important. Just camaraderie, I guess. So
I think one thing is like anything else, you got to allow that person to heal in their time.
And grieve.
Yeah, don't try to force.
Yeah, don't try to force it. Because I had a lot of people to try to force me to get better. Like, you know, my wife and my mom, and you know, it was like, well, you know, we lost them too, you know, type stuff. But it's like, you can't compare my grief to yours. And like, honestly, you bringing this to me is really just pushing you further away from me, and it's making me not want to come around. You know, so I think that's the biggest thing. And honestly, when I look back, it's like what helped me the most is like after I had the conversation with my wife, what helped me most, it wasn't even family, it was my dog.
The puppy?
Yeah.
Oh.
My dog Bailey, the one I lost last year. Like she was truly the starting point of me, like, because that dog knew all my secrets. That she wasn't like, she would sit there and I knew she didn't understand what the hell I was saying, but it felt like somebody was listening, and it helped. So like that dog, like we went everywhere together.
So
Can I say something like about that last question?
Say whatever you want to
Just
say.
with like pregnancy loss, I think people need to stop downgrading the experience, because I think people think if you've lost your baby in the beginning stages that you're a lot less hurt than someone who lost their baby in the ending stages.
You can't quantify someone's grief.
And it doesn't matter. The moment you find out you're pregnant, you're a mom in your mind. So having that ripped from you at any stage, you can't downgrade that experience. And I think a lot of people just kind of like brush it off. And I don't know if it's because it's so taboo to talk about, but a lot of people have, at least I know in my experience, I've had my experience like downgraded a lot, to a point that I think for a while I started to downgrade it. Like, okay, well, you know, like it happened or whatever. I had to really like, in order to get to a point to be able to help other people, I had to feel it. Like I had to really address, hey, this shit hurts. I don't know why they keep telling me it don't, but it does. But just to have other people that, I mean, if you don't know what to say, it's just best to just not say nothing.
Just shut your ass up.
Yeah.
That's all.
No, but I agree with you though, 100%, because people will always ask that ignorant ass question. How far along were you? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That is, you hit the head on the nail. I hate to be asked that.
A loss is a loss. It doesn't matter if you were 1 week. It doesn't matter if you were 2 days.
And then in my case, I've had 6 miscarriages, but what I say 7 because one was twins, so I had 7 babies. But if you're the woman that only lost one baby, I still feel like you hurt as bad as me.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't, just because I've had it multiple times and you've had it the one time, it doesn't mean that you hurt any less.
No, not at all.
My 2 cents on it is being able to just understand where someone's coming from doesn't necessarily have to be what you say, but just understand and give them time, and don't necessarily treat them like there's some sort of something you have to walk on eggshells around, but just understand that they are grieving. But to be able to get to laughter again, I think just treating them like a fucking human being in that sense, just understanding that they're going to go through all different fucking facets of emotion, but at the end of the day, like, it's grief, but it's not, just getting them to understand it's not the end.
What makes me laugh always in those moments is the stories you didn't hear when they were alive.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck? He did that?
And you picture it too.
You're like, I believe it.
Yeah, I can see them doing some shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all right. So the last question. Looking back, how has your relationship with laughter and humor evolved since you've experienced loss?
Well, for me, I've always loved to laugh. You know, I was that kid sneaking and watching comic video. So I mean, I've always tried to find some type of comic relief, because it does put me at ease. It does make me feel better when I can laugh about something.
Yeah.
So I do feel like I have a long history of that. It's just that sometimes, shit's just so heavy. You don't find shit funny.
I feel that. That's why
the fucking thing be funny.
I find when I laugh now, I appreciate that laugh more. Like it means so much more now, because you understand when you're not happy or when you're not in a good mood.
Yeah.
So that laughter has so much more significance now after loss, just because you appreciate that laughter because you remember when you weren't laughing and why you weren't laughing.
I think that finding your laughter is almost like the sense of finding your way, because you have to find your path to laughter, because it's not funny. And the thing is when people think you're being like a stick in the mud, it's like, you don't understand my pain. You don't understand my grief. You don't understand anything that I'm talking about right now. So when I'm ready to, that's what I'm going to do. But once you do get back to that laughter, it's a solid place to be. And I agree with everybody. Like, I love to laugh. I will laugh at some of the dumbest shit, but it's required for me to get through life, because I feel like if you don't laugh, you're losing a part of yourself. But it's not always there.
And on another note, when you see me laugh on this podcast and I hit that button of no return, I'm cherishing that laugh, because it's very rare to laugh like that. So when I hit that laughter button and I'm going, just let me
Enjoy it.
Let me cook, as they say. The youngins say, since I'm 39 now.
I'm still young.
Go ahead.
You 40-year-olds.
I'm 39. 39.
You close.
I'm 39.
Are you oh, you are 39. You turned 39 this month.
She sounds so excited. Wow.
Yeah.
It's because I so badly wanted him to be older than me, and he's not. And so
I'm the youngest nigga here.
I'm sad.
How old are you?
Damn.
How old are you?
I'm 38.
Are you turn 39?
Next year.
65 in his heart.
Yeah.
I'm 72 in my heart.
You definitely an old nigga inside.
When you
But
get
it
excited about
adds to the
going to sleep at
quality.
8,
Hell yeah. Good time. Go to see right after Columbo.
that shit be wild. I said he gets way too excited about going to sleep at 8 o'clock at night.
You do go to bed early. You'll send me a message. It'll be like, "Hey, buy this microphone," and then it'll be like, "This phone is on. Do not disturb." So I'm like, "Damn, I couldn't even respond."
You can respond, but it might not be read till the morning.
So me and Boots are the oldest.
Yeah.
Okay. And you
Yep.
just turned 40.
Yep.
So I'm older than you.
And I'll be 40 in January.
Beautiful. You driving?
Goddamn
Thank
Capricorn
you.
drive me crazy.
I'm an Aquarius, so you can let the Capricorns do whatever the fuck they want to do.
The curves drive me crazy
I'm
too.
an Aquarius,
I got 3 of them. I deal with 2.
and they're probably lovely.
Yes.
To be fair, I don't think I've had this problem.
What problem? I'm not
The
laughing.
laughing.
Yeah,
Yeah, you laugh all the time.
I've never had that problem. Like we were talking with Brett. It's like a gift and a curse, because it's like one of those things where you're like, I probably shouldn't be laughing right now, but I always find the humor in something. Somehow, some way, like that's just how I am, how I've been. Like I don't be trying to be funny; it just fucking happens. But yeah, I don't think I've had to deal with that. So I guess I'm blessed in that.
So, with that being said, this has been episode 166 of the Heavyweight Podcast. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Again, like, subscribe, share, and comment.
All
This
that
has
shit.
been a very triggering episode, and I apologize.
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's
Next
it's
week-
needed.
It's a good
Next week
conversation.
will be a little lighter.
I'm finna go to
I'll
sandwich.
try. I'll try to make it a little lighthearted.
Mm,
I'm sorry,
mm,
but
No.
it was needed. I think I've needed to express some feelings I hadn't expressed in a long time, and it was dope to have it in front of a dope bunch of individuals here. So, again, like, subscribe, comment, share. Till next time, we love you. Peace.
Peace.
They probably tired of seeing me cry.
It's a wrap. That's all she wrote, folks. Thanks for tuning in once again. You can check us out on all streaming platforms. Click like, subscribe, leave some comments, you know what I'm saying? Is it Monday yet? Hello. Every Monday you got new episodes, so tune in. Have a blessed one.